Okay, this is kind of new to me because I do TikTok. I know, but TikTok's got a little bit. How can I put it? I can't say Keir Starmer. Can't say Andy Burnham. Can't say Toby Robinson. I can't say the Prime Minister of Somalia. I can't say the country that it comes from, i.e., China. And I can't say many things. It gets very difficult. So I break guidelines all the time. But no, I'm just going to talk very briefly about all the stuff that Andy Burnham's done because I do cash quite a lot. And I do cash, not as in cash like lefty cash and, tax all the rich because I'm not rich, but tax all the rich and all that sort of stuff. I do, I try and look through the smoke and mirrors of what we call the Labour Party. So, and any other government, by the way, not just exclusive. So he's going to give a 20% discount on pubs. I'm going to say at the end of this why he's doing all this, because I know why he's doing all this, and I'm going to make a little prediction. I don't normally make predictions, but I'll give it a go. Now, he's going to take 20% off on business rates because obviously the small business rate discount rate is gone. And so it was hiked by 52% on average last year. Some pubs went up by 176%. Let me just point that out. So they're now going to get 20% off. So that's going to kick in, but they're going to take 20% off next year. So they get 52% they've got to pay this year. Then next year they've got to pay 20%. So, it's a win-win, isn't it? Because they're still getting more money. There's no subsidies or anything going towards this because they're already putting it up. And then we have the bus fare. Sorry, Andy Burnham just really winds me up. He's joking about the country. The country's fucking burning. So he's going to cap the price on buses at £2. Now, a bus company can decide whether they opt in or opt out of this. That's the first thing. The second thing is it was at £2. Then Keir Starmer froze it and put it as a win at £3. So, which hasn't been instigated yet, which means that Andy Burnham is keeping it where it was during the Conservative government at £2. So he hasn't actually done anything. Okay, Oil C, because everybody's going, oh, he's giving away new licenses. He's not giving away new licenses. I don't even know where this comes from. I'm trying to figure this out. But again, it's smoke and mirrors. So apparently he's giving it away for Rosebank and Jackdaw. He's not. Right, Jackdaw is owned by Shell. And Rosebank is owned by Equinor. Well, 80% stake is Equinor. Now, they were taken to court by climatologists, climate activists, because their impact statements were out of date. Okay, so all they did was they delayed it. The activists won because their impact statement was out of date. I'll tell you why it was out of date. Was because their impact statement for Jackdaw, which is gas for Shell, was issued, their licensing, in 1970s. I shit you not. So climate wasn't really up there with how much CO2 is this going to burn. And Rosebank was licensed in 2001. So, yeah. So what he's actually doing is not giving away licenses. He's going through public consultation now because they've resubmitted their impact statements. That's completed, I believe, this week. And then he's just signing the permit. That's it. No new licenses. It's bollocks. It's smoke and mirrors. Yet again. But it always is with Labour, it's smoke and mirrors. And this is my little prediction. He's trying to do loads of really good things that doesn't cost any money, doesn't cost the Labour government anything, but looks like it is, which is what they do all over the thing. He's bribed his way here, he subverted democracy. This was a political coup. We know now that this is a year in planning. All of this. So he had a year to actually work out what he was going to do when he got here. And if you don't believe me, then you can, I believe it was Louise Haigh, confirmed that they've been doing this for a year with Labour together, surprise, which has now changed its name because obviously Josh Simmons was under parliamentary investigation to do with trying to dig up dirt on journalists that were writing bad things about Labour. Now, Labour, I would get into Labour together, but they've just renamed themselves just to rebrand to Think Labour. They're supposed to be a think tank. They're not. They're the ones that ousted Jeremy Corbyn, made out he was anti-Semitic and everything else. Didn't like Jeremy Corbyn's, but and got Keir Starmer there. When Keir Starmer started failing, do not forget, Labour Together also wrote the manifesto to ensure that you voted for them. Yes, I'm not kidding. That's where the word change and stop the votes came in. They knew that change and stop the votes were good catchphrases to get you to vote for them. They didn't change and they didn't stop the votes. But they then saw that Keir Starmer was going downhill, so then they brought in Andy Burnham. Now they want to get another 5 years. Labour Together, or Think Labour, whichever rebrand you want to go for. And of course, Andy Burnham's a Fabian, so it all goes down quite well with the communist government. You know, eugenics, and I won't get into the rest. So he's going to try and appease you as much as possible over the next couple of months, but appease you with stuff that isn't going to cost any money because, as we know, the government audit office won't sign off the books because they've lost £81 billion. No, I'm not joking. They've lost £81 billion. They've actually cited it as fraud or error. Yeah, they've lost 8% of your GDP. That's what they lost. They lost double what they pay on defence. They don't know what they spent it on. No idea. They got £120 billion back hole already in the budget for this year. Also, on top of that, they're borrowing money every month. You see, I get to say most of this stuff for me. They're borrowing every month to pay the interest on our debt. So it's literally like you being at home with your credit card, taking money off your credit card to pay the interest on your credit card. It always gets bigger and the interest gets bigger, so you end up borrowing more money. It's fucking insane. He's put everybody in jobs who backed him when it came to everything that was going on. And by the way, James Healy, yeah, the reason Al Khan quit the next day, didn't he? James Healy quit because there wasn't enough money to defence, blah, blah, blah. That isn't what it was about. James Healy was in on the plot a year ago. Okay, so it was to embarrass Keir Starmer by standing down and saying, where's the money? That was the reason. That's why he's not going to jump up and down, because now he's become the Chancellor. And he will not jump up and down about defence because they're not going to spend 3% on defence, as we all know, because they don't have the fucking money. Because they're spending it on other things. If I get into that one, that'll really make you angry. So, yeah, he's got his reward. You know, obviously, Josh Simmons got his reward. He stood down. He was under investigation for, bad stuff. And he's now gone from 94,000 to 180,000 within the cabinet. So he's got his reward. And then he's put everybody in jobs where they're not really qualified to be there in the first place. Al Khan did the moral thing and stood down. And well, look where that got him, because he didn't realise it was a fucking plot, did he? So this is what they're going to do. They're going to give you loads of stuff. They're going to make you think that they're doing loads of things and that there's change and everything else. And then they're going to call a general election. When they call a general election, once the polls get big enough, which is what they're waiting for the poll to get big enough. And if you're that stupid to fucking vote for them, well, you know, the IQ's dropped. Maybe we should call it an IQ test. Because it's smoke and mirrors get you to vote for them when they call a general election. So that way they have a new mandate, because his mandate is not part of the manifesto, which means that he has to call a general election. It's that simple. He's just out to appease you, make things look good, you know, make me look good, even though he has the... honestly, God, they're absolutely right. He is the guy from The Office, isn't he? It's just make him look good. That's it. Then they're going to call a general election once the polls get heavy enough in their favour, and then get another 5-year mandate on the socialist apocalyptic scape. That's it. Because that's what they do.